What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Journey Time. Today we're going to be working on the Miata. We're going to be getting it all, actually has a lot of hard water spots. I'd watched it yesterday, and out here in Guam there's a lot of hard water spots. So whenever we get up close, and I'll show you in a little bit, with the flashlight you'll be able to actually see them. So today we're going to be claying the car, and once the clay's done, we'll wash it again to get all any sort of the lubrication off to make sure it's completely clean, and then that's when we'll press into doing a very small amount of scratch and swirl remover, and then we'll jump into the wax. I like the mother's detailing. This is what it looks like. This is my favorite thing anytime I always go to the shop here on Guam, or on base I should say. But I do have some leftover clay that's still very good and viable. So again, yeah, so this is lubrication, clay, this, and then the car. So make sure whenever you're actually using the clay, you're gonna wanna use as much, how do I wanna put this? You want to use almost like an absurd amount of detailer. You do not want this to catch or anything. You want this to be a smooth transition, to slide over back and forth like no issue. So straight off the bat, we can see that, I don't know how well the camera will really be able to see it, but there is a pretty bad, let's see how that light shows right there, you can see it now. It runs right along here. So I have a pretty nasty scratch that just kind of came from washing the car. That was actually during the very first wash of the car. I haven't been able to, I really needed to get a good solid buff onto it. So it that was off the very first wash, so I'm gonna need to try and do a little bit more swirl remover. I just try not to remove a whole bunch all at one time, because I just don't want it to be like that uneven spot as I try and do it. So as throughout this life of the car, I know that it's hardly noticeable, but it's one of those things like where you notice it, so it matters. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and try and get some of that out. Hopefully this time it might come out. We might try and deal with just that specifically after all the claying's done and everything. So let's go ahead and start the clay. So I actually learned a little trick. I know it feels weird, but anyway, so I learned a little trick off the internet, off of YouTube, of course. And so with the bag test. So what you do is you actually put your hand in a little bag, and you can literally run your finger across the car, and you actually feel more than what you would just with a naked finger. And plus you also don't smear it. So we'll just feel real lightly. You feel just like how smooth it is compared to before, and you really do notice a huge difference whenever over a spot that hasn't been clayed compared to, like I said, I've gotten the chance to do the front bumper. I can really feel it's just like bumpy all over the place. It's kind of wild just like how it actually works. So if you ever actually have a opportunity, use it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this claying process instead of just like filling it all up with all the time lapse. So anyway, so I'm going to finish up the rest of the claying the rest of the car, and then I'll get back with you guys, and you guys will start back up whenever I'm moving on to the buffing. And we're going to hit that one spot on the hood, see if we can maybe try and get that scratch to go just a little bit further away, so without trying to make it all uneven and gross. So, and then right after that we'll just go straight into the wax. So let's go. Alright, so everything's been clayed. Now that everything's been clayed, everything's been wiped down, plastic bagged it. A couple spots were still kind of hard, or still kind of gritty, but for the most part it was definitely very smooth. So now we can move on to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and try and attack the scratch that's up on top of the hood, and then we'll go straight into the wax, and then yeah, we'll pull her out into the sun and we'll get a couple drone shots and we'll see how she looks. Another side note is that I also changed out the clay because the other clay, every time I would fold it, you just see more contaminants popping out. So at that point, you know, it's just trash. So I moved into the next one, or I moved into a new one, same type, came out amazing. So right now, we're gonna move into the buffing of car. So I have the Chemical Guys, I have a lot of Chemical Guys stuff, so I do like their cutting pads. Their cutting pads do pretty well. And so, so with that, I'm gonna couple that with their conditioner so it doesn't rip apart. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do it with a final polish because it only needs a little bit. Where is it? There you go. So yeah, there we go. So the V38 polish. So that should help a lot as far as being able to get the scratches out, and that should help with being able to get a lot of the scratches out. So yeah, I mean, I guess let's just go for it and see how she looks. I always try and wipe in just like one nice uniform direction. To get it off, once it's off, I flip to a new side. Make sure all the last bit of that adhesive, or the adhesive, that paste is gone. And then I'll flip to a new side. So for me to be able to get these scratches, I think I'm just gonna have to either hit it again for a second pass, use a deeper cut pad, but it just blows because it's just like right here when it got wiped, whenever it was getting washed for the first time. And I can't believe just how deep that scratch was. I know it's definitely only into the clear coat. How many layers? It's only time to tell as you continue to go over and over and over and over. I don't want to keep going over it because then eventually I'll run into the paint. And then, yeah, it'll be paint, and either I'm going to chrome this whole thing then, or I'm going to have to repaint it. So let's try and avoid that for now. So hopefully, you know, there are a couple of guys that'll pop in here and read, and I'm always open to constructive criticism. Don't be a prick. But yeah, no, if I was able to get some advice, that'd be sweet. I know I do my due diligence and research a lot, but I also don't want to push my limits as I'm still learning and trying to figure this out. So if you know anything, comment below. That'd be awesome. But for now, then I'm gonna go ahead and just wax everything, because then at least that'll protect all the exposed paint for now. And then whenever I'm able to find out some more information, maybe going back to it after, maybe, because I think my wax only lasts like 2 washes, 3 washes, because I use the butter wet wax from Chemical Guys, and it's okay. I mean, it definitely gives a good shine, but it's not like the best. So if you also know anything about that, let me know. Alright, so instead of me having the drone come out, we're gonna have a mix of a drone. We're gonna try and do like some semblance of a B-roll. So we'll probably have the car nice come out and stuff, blah 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 blah. So yeah, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. you can tell, that was my video. I totally forgot to record an outro, which is why I'm doing it now. So I really do appreciate it if you made it all the way out here to the end of the video. I know the video I felt like was pretty fair for the first time. So go ahead and comment below and just let me know what you thought. Again, like I said in the video, you know, constructive criticism is a thing, but just don't be a prick about it. But I also did hope that you enjoyed the B-roll. I definitely tried on that, so we'll see how that kind of came out. I know I definitely have a way to go, but I'm ready to learn and I'm ready to keep going. So you're probably also asking yourself, what is this channel about? And what it's gonna be about is about cars. Anything with an engine that goes, I'm about it. So if you're about it, consider subscribing. See you next time.